Welcome to my tutorial for Battle Princess Madelyn for the Nintendo Switch. This is a great game if you enjoy Ghouls and Ghosts or the Ghost and Goblin series. It's pretty much a rip-off of that whole style. But very well done overall. I would just recommend playing the arcade mode. I haven't tried the story mode yet, but from what I understand, it's kind of convoluted and you have to collect items and go back to other areas. Kind of like a Metroidvania style, but I heard that it was implemented pretty poorly, so I didn't even try it because I like the more straightforward action type of gameplay, so I went straight for arcade mode. Now, one thing that sucks about this game is that in arcade mode, you do get checkpoints. You have basically, like, if you lose all your lives, you'll start back at the beginning of the level. And there's a few levels that have checkpoints that you'll start at when you lose all your lives. But aside from that, there's no save system. So basically, you have to leave your Switch in suspend mode or beat it in one sitting. I think I had the game for weeks before I actually beat it. I just left the game on in suspend mode, and I didn't play any other games on Switch. But it kind of sucks that, you have to keep this game running in order to not have to start the entire game over from the beginning. They should have had like a save. But, it is only about an hour long. So, but it'll probably take you several hours to learn all the levels. And yeah, the way the live system works, from my understanding, is you see that top right little meter? It's on the top right, and it has these little lines in it. Well, when all those little lines get depleted, that means that you don't have any lives left, so you'll just be dead. And you'll have to start the level over or go back to the last checkpoint. Most levels don't have checkpoints, but a few, near the end of the game, I think the last level is the only one that has a few checkpoints in it. It has about 4 checkpoints in it. So that's a huge help later on. But yeah, basically, once those lines deplete, your lives are gone. You can replenish those lines to give yourself more lives by killing enemies. It seems to replenish it a little bit. So if you survive for a while, you may replenish some of it and get an extra life or two out of it. But the other thing, there's also a ghost that you can use if you hold down the fire button and then release it, you'll charge up a ghost move where the ghost attacks an enemy. It homes in on the closest enemy, and a lot of times will kill a regular enemy. The problem with it is I think it depletes your meter that also gives you your lives. So most of the time I'd recommend not using the ghost because I think it wastes that, and you'd be better off having an extra life most of the time, Unless it's a really hard part where you're going to lose a life on it, then maybe use it then. But it doesn't really work on bosses, and it only works for like maybe one regular enemy it'll kill. So it's not that useful. But I did find it made a few parts easier when I was platforming and there was like an enemy in the way that was going to hit me as soon as I jumped on a platform or something like that, and I couldn't reach it, then I would use it. And that's about it. Basically, you can fire your weapon up, left, right, jump up in the air and fire it down, or just fire it down. You have full directional control of your weapons. And there's different weapons you pick up. There doesn't seem to really be any bad or shitty weapons like in the Ghouls and Ghosts games, like with the blue flame. I think all the weapons are pretty good. And you can double jump, which is very important. I didn't know that for a while, but you can double jump by pressing jump twice. And you can double jump at any time while you're still airborne. So, a lot of times you may want to, float in the air for a little while and then use it at the last moment, depending on the part. But you don't have to use it at the peak of your jumps, like in, say, Shinobi 3 or certain games like that. You can use it at any time. Just as long as you're launched in the air, you just press jump again, and you'll get it again. And that's about it for the basics. You also sometimes can pick up better armors, which I think are hidden in certain pots. I don't know if it's random. I can't remember that. But yeah, I'm looking over this video now for the first time because I haven't played, like I said, some parts in weeks. So some of it I'm just going to have to recall as I see it, but I'll remember the strategies I use once I see it a little bit. I also have the non-commentary version up, no commentary for those who just want to see the game. I don't know the exact time this game took me, but it was definitely a few hours. It didn't take super long. But, yeah, I think it definitely took a few hours. Strangely, I found the first level to be one of the harder levels, and then some of the other levels went by very quickly for me. But it's definitely a challenging game. One thing that makes it probably easier than the Ghouls and Ghosts games is, that you respawn right where, right around where you died, and you can do that a few times. As I said, the live system kind of lets you respawn around where you died. So, in Ghouls and Ghosts, you only respawn back at the last checkpoint you got to, but you can't respawn multiple times. So that makes it easier in one aspect, but in another aspect it's harder because it's a lot denser and there's a lot more action on screen, so there's a lot more shit to dodge. So, kind of a mix. But yeah, I did think it was kind of shitty that you can't save your game, because there was other games that I wanted to play on the Switch. But I was like, I might as well beat this game because Mario Maker 2 is coming out soon, and I'm probably going to pick that up on day one. So I wouldn't want to have to wait to play that game just because I'm at the last boss on this game and I didn't finish it. So I figured I would just beat the game. But other than that, it's very good. It's a fun game. There's another game called Castilla or Castilla, something like that. I think it was on PS4 and a few other systems. PC. That was another very good Ghouls and Ghosts rip-off type of game. So if you enjoy that or this, then you'll probably enjoy that too. Yeah, now for this guy, I didn't realize... So this is going to be a very long fight because I didn't realize that you could touch his feet, at least when he's not moving, and shoot straight up at his head. So, because I didn't know that, I made this fight take extremely long. So, you may want to skip ahead of this fight. Keep in mind that I didn't go back and refine any of the parts. So, if I beat something on my first time, then it's shown as it was. So... some fights are going to be more refined than others for that reason. Because it wasn't really designed as a tutorial, this playthrough. It's just me going over and putting commentary and trying to explain everything over my actual playthrough that was successful. So I didn't go back to redo anything. But yeah, if I was going to redo something, this fight was one of the worst because I really spent a lot of time fighting this guy. But yeah, if you get on his feet and shoot up at him, you'll make this fight go a lot faster. One thing I don't like about this game, my one issue probably, is that the bosses take way too many fucking hits most of the time. It just really drags out. And that can make, some encounters difficult, but a lot of the bosses have such simple patterns that it's just a boring fight. It's not really hard. It's just going to be lengthy. And, you can fuck up because you'll get sloppy because, you get kind of bored with the fight. And you may not be paying as much attention, then you'll get hit, so... Luckily, whenever you get to a boss, you get full life bar replenishment. So you can get there with no lives left and then get a full bar. So that's one thing that's cool. But yeah, as you can see, the patterns are very recognizable. And that's one big thing about this game is recognizing, how to move in the levels to not get hit and, boss pattern recognition. The basics. Because once you get a lot of these patterns down, the bosses can be very easy. The good thing about the last boss and the last level is that there's a good amount of checkpoints in that level, and I'll explain what all the checkpoints are. Which means when you lose all your lives, you'll actually continue in the middle of the level instead of, having to start the whole level over. So the last level is really not that difficult because of that. But the last boss can be tough because the last boss, it just takes so many fucking hits. But I do have a method to get in a lot of hits faster, so you may shave a minute or two off the fight by using my method. It's still a very long fight though. Either way. It really didn't need to be that lengthy, but I find most of the weapons to be good, though, like I said. They're all pretty damn good. I don't remember any bad ones. Of course, sometimes some weapons will be better for certain stages, I think, but, you know, overall they're all, you know, pretty usable. I like the axes and the knives, probably the best. There's also a weapon that slides along the ground that's very useful for the snow level. And I'm sure it's good for other levels too, but I remember using it on the snow level and it working really well. Because there's a lot of hills in that level and it'll travel up the hill and take out the enemies. Otherwise, if you go up the hill without killing the enemy, then, you know, you can get hit easily. So it's really good for that level. But I couldn't tell you how to get the weapons that you want. You know, I think that certain enemies may drop weapons, but I usually pick them up without even seeing them. I think because I break open pots a lot and I just run through shit. So I'm not sure what the best way... I don't know if you can, like, farm weapons and try to get better weapons, like in Ghouls and Ghosts. I didn't really try that. But yeah, don't do what I did on this boss. You know, get on his foot and shoot up at him, at least when he's not running. If he's running, I think he'll hit you. But if he's standing still, you know, just get right under him and shoot up at his head. You'll kill him a lot faster. This level can be kind of tricky. It's actually one of the harder levels, probably. Because some of the levels after this are pretty easy. So, you know, it's the first and second level are actually maybe a little harder than some of the other levels, I thought. But yeah, you want to use your double jumps here. And, you know, try to take out the enemies before you land on the next lily pad. So just be aware of that. Now with these arrow enemies and a lot of enemies that fire projectiles, I find it good to try to lure out their shot. So I'll try to jump in the way of them to make them shoot me, and then I'll dodge the arrow that they shoot. By doing that, it's a lot more predictable than just trying to, you know, trying to charge them without any real plan. It can be dangerous. See, I drop here, and I don't do my double jump until the guy shoots. Watch again. You'll be doing that a lot. Well, I didn't do it right that time, but you'll see where I dip down, and I do the double jump right when the guy's right in the range where the guy's going to fire. And it makes him fire, and then when he fires, I'm already in the air, so I go over the arrow. And I do that a lot with those enemies and a lot of similar enemies. So it's a technique that you'll be able to use a lot in this game. Because these enemies are in a lot of areas of the game. You can also destroy these vine plants. Don't get grabbed by the vine or it'll take you up and damage you. And I don't think there's any way to escape it once you get grabbed, so be aware. This part's tough because there's these snakes on these poles and it can cause a lot of problems when you're trying to jump. So I do actually use my charge attack on one part, at least one part. I go up, you know, a few of these. Try to take out what you can from a distance before you just run through this area. Because, like, see, then that can happen. So if you can take out the snakes ahead of time, try to get rid of them. You know. They are a big problem because you can't climb the pole when they're alive. And they can also shoot you very, very well. They shoot you at all these different angles. Very annoying enemy. And if you shoot your weapon up just right, you can kill this snake. It takes a little time, and you may not be able to reach it with weapons like the axe. But I'm sure a lot of weapons will be able to do it. So try to take this snake out like this. If you don't have a weapon that can do that, use your ghost and take out one of the snakes with the ghost. I think I didn't use it because I knew I could take it out without the ghost. And like I said, the ghost wastes your life bar as far as I can tell. So just take your time in this area. Also be aware of the bats. Try to take them out when they get close to you. But try to take your time out and take out all the snakes from a distance before proceeding. You know, it makes it a lot easier to get through this area. Otherwise, you're going to be getting knocked off like crazy. So that just comes with practicing the level, you know, getting used to it. Unfortunately, no save states on the Switch, so you can't really practice with save states. But eventually, you know, you play the level enough, you'll eventually learn everything. It never gets too hard. You know, unless you're not really familiar with old games or these types of games, you know, then it can be difficult, I'm sure. But it's not, if you're used to Ghouls and Ghosts, then it shouldn't be too hard of a game. So now's the boss. This boss takes a shitload of hits, as usual. But, I mean, it's a pretty easy boss. I never really got it down too well, and I still beat it. The hitboxes are kind of weird, like how you get damaged. But it seems you want to stay to, you know, the opposite side of whatever hand is about to slap down. So you want to be a little bit off to the side when the hand slaps down. Or actually, you know what? I think maybe if you're double jumping and you're in the air, you won't take damage. It may be that you're supposed to be airborne. I think that may be it. I think you can't touch the ground when the hand slaps down. I think that might be what it is. So you may just have to try to make sure you're double jumping while the hand's coming down, getting the rhythm of it. I think that may be all you really have to do. Again, this didn't take me too many attempts to beat. I may have even gotten this boss on my first try or second try, something like that. So I didn't really learn it too well. That's why this tutorial is going to be kind of half-assed. I mean, I'll be explaining what I can, but I didn't refine it. But I think it'll still be useful because it's easy to miss some of the smaller details. And it also makes the videos a little bit more entertaining for some people. Some people may enjoy some kind of dialogue while the game's being played. So yeah, as usual, always try to take guys down from a distance, if you don't know the level especially, but always try to take them down from a distance. These guys fire up when you have a chance, but don't let them vomit down on you, obviously. So just keep moving if you need to. But, as I said, whenever you can take out guys from a distance and work your way slowly, you'll have a safer, path. But be aware that guys do spawn out of the background quite frequently in these levels. And in this game in general, so always be looking for guys to pop out, especially in those piles of bones and in other areas. They'll pop out. So if you're not paying attention to what's immediately around you, you a lot of times you won't see the guys pop out and hit you. It's really sneaky. So I mean, you'll learn that the hard way, but see, like that. So just be aware. Now this part coming up's a little bit tricky. I think I played this pretty sloppily, but still ended up winning somehow. It's annoying because you got all this shit coming down. You got the guys dropping down. You got spikes. You got the guy with the arrows. And then you got to jump across. So, I don't really have a good tip for that, but try to do better than I did. So yeah, try to take out these enemies first before you just try to run to the right. Take out what you can, because otherwise it's going to be like an orgy over there with all the enemies. So I don't really recommend doing it that way. Try to take these things in the air, these flaming fireballs in the air. Try to kill them if you can. And be aware of the pattern. It's every other platform that the fire comes up out of, and it just moves like that. So stay in the space as it moves to the right, the pattern. And, that's it for that part. The hard part of that could be, all the shit that's moving around in the air trying to, hit you while you're trying to do that. Of course, anytime you do get hit and take damage, use your temporary invincibility while you're still flashing to run through shit and get to the next area. Now, that's a super common tactic in these old games, but in this game, they give you a pretty long period of invincibility once you get hit, so you can run past hard parts. So definitely use that. If you're having trouble with a part, take the hit and just run through if you can. I mean, I never recommend usually, trying to take damage, but if you're going to get hit anyway, then, you haven't learned it yet. Try to run through. And this is a very, very easy boss. Very easy boss here. Now I think I beat it on my first time, so I didn't even know exactly what to expect. Though I had seen a video, but it's different watching a video. So I take a few hits initially, but it's very easy. Just keep a little distance from this guy and keep shooting at him. And after he gets out of his stun and does his fire, he's going to charge you. I think he does a few flames first. So stay out of range of his flames. And using a weapon like that saucer is really good because it hits the guy from across the screen. I don't even think he has to be visible and you'll still damage him. So keep that in mind. After he does the flames, prepare for him to charge across the screen and just jump. And he's going to do the same pattern again and again. So once when he jumps up in the air, obviously don't be, keep moving so it doesn't fall straight on you. I mean, a few of them, I didn't really know how to dodge too well, but I guess I was cutting it real close. But this boss was still pretty easy. I mean, I'm sure I would have done better after a few tries. Because he just keeps repeating the same shit. See, in that time I was ready for it and I jumped it. So I already had gotten the pattern down, I think, by this point. I learned it a little bit late, but, once you know what to do, it's just, you're going to beat it. So he drops down here, and then he's going to charge again, so jump over him. You got to kind of land on the edge of that platform the way I was doing it, but there's probably a better way to do that, a safer way, but You get the idea. Yeah, I enjoyed this game quite a bit. Like I said, the only thing I didn't like is that I couldn't play Blaster Master 2 or any of my other Switch games. So I basically didn't play anything on Switch for weeks, except for, whenever I played Switch, it was this game just to make progress. Because I really don't like replaying shit if I don't have to, even though it's a cool game. I'm just working on so many games. But I was impatient. I wasn't really putting enough time into this game, so yeah, for this part, try to carefully get rid of these guys and move forward. It is kind of tricky with two of them. But, try to pull some bullshit here on this ledge. And just take out these enemies. Now, there's going to be a part that can be very hard. But I found a good way to play it. And I'll explain. It's a very simple tactic. So, yeah, when you go down here, you're automatically going to be on a boat. Go all the way to the left side of the screen and stay on the left-ish edge of the screen. Not all the way left. And just keep shooting. That's all you got to do. Keep shooting and stay on the left side. And what'll happen is these mermen or whatever the fuck they are will jump up into your projectiles and get killed. So just do that. Jump over the spiked balls and try to stay to the as left to the screen as you can. Kill that fish if you can with some precise shots just to get it out of there, because it's going to be annoying if you just leave it there. And then just keep firing, firing to the right and staying to the left of the screen. That's pretty much it. That's all you really got to do. The boat also moves with you, so you don't have to worry about trying to jump and land on the boat. The boat automatically follows your movement. So you can't jump into the water, so don't worry about that. And that's it for this whole segment. Very, very easy. Now, if you don't do this, it can be very, very hard because those guys are very spastic and they easily hit you. They're very tricky to hit if you try to actually react to them as you see them. So yeah, I recommend doing that. If you have a weapon that can fire up, just fire up and take those guys out so you don't have to climb up and get shot and ran over. Always try to take out what you can before proceeding. Be aware of the guys spawning in from the background as usual. Every level pretty much has enemies that do that, so always be aware. You can skip this fish. You don't have to bother fighting it. Now for this part, take these, I think there's one guy up here. Yeah, take him out. Be aware of the assholes that spawn from the background, obviously. And try to have a clear path and then just go up. This part I'd recommend dealing with the fish. Or just use your charge move if you're not worried about it. That'll take out the arrow guy. I wasted some of my charge moves on some of these enemies here, I think. I think because I already knew the level, so I was confident that I was going to beat the level anyway. So I figured, for a hard part like that, it's better not to get hit. So, you can kind of decide when you want to use your power move, even though it depletes your life, your amount of lives that you have. But see, like I should have used it on that guy because that guy's annoying. So this part, it's not hard. If you just watch these things, they spout out these green balls. I recommend always taking out the fish before you go to your right or left, whatever side you're moving to. But get rid of the fish first. Because, they're just going to get in the way. Unless you're doing a speed run, it's better to play carefully in these kind of games. Yeah, let this thing spit out, and then as they're coming up, drop down, and you won't get hit. And just keep going down this slope to your left and doing the same thing, same technique. It's good for them to wait for those green balls to come out of the seaweed thing because, then you don't have to guess when it's going to fire again and you won't end up getting hit. So always wait for them to shoot first and then you can react to it. If you just keep trying to run and not worrying about it, you'll probably take hits because, you don't know when they're going to fire always, unless you have the pattern down, because the patterns don't change in these kind of games. It's always the same. Once you get a movement pattern down, you can just run through stages. But if you want to play it safe, I recommend doing that, taking out the fish. And now you're at the boss. This is one of the easier bosses. But I don't understand it completely, but I'll try to explain what I do understand. Because sometimes it doesn't do what I think it should do with the crate. But what you have to do is proceed all the way to the right and shoot the lever. You got to shoot the lever so the lever goes down. Now, I think they may give you a free one in the beginning, so I probably didn't have to do that. I probably could have just climbed directly up the ladder. And what you do after the lever's down, you climb up the ladder. Okay, I guess, see the lever, I don't know why I couldn't shoot the lever, but now it appeared. It's very bizarre. But anyway, I think I have to go back down and do it again. But you'll see. Of course, you want to dodge those green balls falling down, but you mainly just want to focus on moving to the right and shooting this lever, which I don't know why I'm not able to shoot it now at this point. Oh, there it goes. Somehow it fell on the guy, which I don't even understand how the fuck that even happened. But I'll try to explain it when it's more clear what's going on. See, sometimes this boss confuses me. It doesn't do what I would expect. So I don't know what was going on with that. But anyway, shoot the lever. Here it goes. Shoot it. You see it goes down. And once the lever goes down, you got to get up there fairly quick and shoot that crate. I may have not even made it in time. Let's see. No, I guess it fell down automatically. I don't even know what just happened. But anyway, once the crate falls down on the guy, you gotta shoot your weapon at the rope to knock the crate down usually. And once you do that, the crab will expose its eyeballs. Once you see those little eyeballs popping up, you shoot at them with your weapon, and that's the only way you can damage it. The crate itself doesn't seem to do any damage. It just gets it so that the weak point comes out and you can shoot the weak point. So, aside from that, remember you can touch the crab's body, but and it won't hurt you. But the green balls that fall down will hurt you, and the claws will only hurt you when they bust up out of the water and make those waves. So you just got to get used to when they're about to come up and make sure you're in the air when they come up and they won't hurt you. You got to be jumping or double jumping, and then you won't get hurt. And that's all you need to know. So you shoot this thing and it goes down, and then the eyes will come up. So see, I don't understand because that time the eyes didn't even come up. So, like, I'm really confused about what triggers what on this boss. I didn't really understand it too well. So, you know, I don't know why that was the case. But I do know that eventually the eyes will come out, and that's, you know, when you can hurt it. I don't think you can shoot the claws. I think it's only the eyes. But they haven't been coming out for a while. See, now the eyes came out when the crate hit. So I'm thinking it has something to do with the crate hitting it. But yeah, I like I said, didn't really have a great understanding of this. But yeah, you're gonna be repeating the same pattern again and again. Doesn't change. See, now the eyes are up. So if you're standing on the ledge, you have a good point to just shoot the shit out of it. At least with that weapon. You know, different weapons, you're going to maybe have to position yourself a little bit differently, you know. But you get the idea. And, you know, as usual, the bosses, most of them take a ridiculous amount of hits. The previous boss actually didn't really take that many hits, it didn't seem, so that was reasonable, but most of the bosses, you know, they just take, like, such a huge amount of fucking hits. It'd be cool to at least have life bars in games where bosses take a lot of hits. I always like to know, like, where my progress is. But, like, luckily none of these bosses are that hard, but they just take long. So it's a bit of an annoyance. The last boss kind of stretches out for too long. But, you know, once you learn it, you can survive for a very long time and just repeat the patterns. Now here I'm about one hit away from total death and having to redo the level, so I guess I cut it pretty close. As usual, you do get full life back when you enter a boss area. Or I should say full lives back, because that meter determines how many lives you have remaining. It's a very different kind of system for lives. One good thing about it, though, is that you can replenish that bar a little bit by killing enemies, so you can get some extra lives that way. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, for this level, the saucer works very well because, see, it travels along the ground and it goes up the slopes and kills enemies. So I found it to be a very good weapon for this level. It's probably the best weapon for this level because there's a lot of slopes. So I think it's probably the best weapon to use on this level. But again, I don't really know how to get specific weapons, you know, if you can farm them or what. But regardless, you know, you're going to get into a rhythm with whatever weapon that you have. You'll figure out the movement, the best way to move through. Always try to kill things from a distance, as I was saying. It just makes things a lot easier. You can't jump on those snowballs as you would maybe think you could and ride them. You have to just avoid them. So this part's a little tricky because you got to get up on that ledge kind of fast. But you know, you can double jump over those guys too. You don't have to kill them. But these saucers are really good. It goes through the snowball and it goes up the slope. Very useful. A lot of wolves try to charge you in this level, so it is good to have those saucers coming out while you're moving, so that way, you know, if there is any, they'll get stunned and give you a chance to fire out more and finish them off. Some very easy platforming in this section. Be wary of the wolf at the end trying to knock you into the pit. Yeah, and you're pretty much going to follow the same strategy here with, you know, putting out your weapon and trying to kill these guys, as many as you can before you move up to them. Luckily, the wolves don't run back and forth and try to keep killing you. You know, they just run through once and leave. At least those ones do. I don't know about the other ones, but those ones just run right past you every time. Which is good, because having two wolves trying to run back at you would be very difficult. You know, if you missed them. Because they'd be right on your fucking ass. Try to take out these bats if you can before moving forward, because, you know, they are annoying to have flying around trying to hit you while you're doing other shit. Now here you're going to take the upper path. It's the only way through. So remember, you can jump through the chain on that swinging obstacle. So you can jump through the chain part. The chain won't hurt you, but that spiky part, that blade will hurt you. So avoid the blade, but just jump through the chain. And you'll have to just get used to your timing on parts like this. You know, it's kind of basic timing shit, but you got to kind of plan when you're going to move down. And the same with all these jumping segments. You just got to get used to the timing. There's not too much to explain about it, aside from just learning it. There is a part I initially kind of got stuck on for a moment because I didn't know you had to jump down, so I'll show that now. See, down here, when you get all the way down here, you got to jump down through the ground. Even though there's an arrow pointing down, I didn't really think I could drop through that, but that's all you got to do. It's very easy. You just press down and jump to jump down through a platform, like a lot of these games. Try to take out the bats if you can. The skeletons, not as much because they keep respawning, so unless there's one directly in your way, I wouldn't worry about them. See, sometimes the control is delayed when I walk off an edge, and I don't jump when I run off the edge. So either there's some kind of input lag issue with my TV, which I don't think, because I tested Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Metal Storm, all kinds of games to see if there was input lag. So I think this game is just a little bit delayed when you walk off the edge of a platform, because it's very easy sometimes to just keep walking and fall off into the spikes, even though I was hitting jump. But anyway, now here's the boss. This is a very easy boss. Try to stay all the way on the opposite side when it does the spikes. But and then it'll jump over you. And then all you got to do is shoot the steak, and while it's eating the steak, shoot it in the ass. The ass is the only weak spot of this cat for some reason. You got to shoot it in the ass. So yeah, I like staying all the way on the left when it does the spikes. Then it does some tornadoes. Just jump over those. And then after the tornadoes, he's going to jump across the map, across the screen. So just stay in the middle. I don't even think you have to duck. And then just shoot it in the ass. And that's it. That's all you got to do for this guy. He just keeps doing the same shit again and again until he dies. Probably the easiest boss in the game. Yeah, I think it is the easiest boss in the game. So, not a very hard level. I mean, the level's not that difficult. And the boss is very easy. So, it's one of the easier levels, I think. Some of the levels do kind of get easier at this point in the game. But then, of course, the last level's the hardest just because of the final bosses. But the last level's not, it's a little tricky, but you get a lot of checkpoints, so it makes it a lot easier. Just shoot that red ass until those ass cheeks explode. Yeah, I'll definitely be putting up some Super Mario Maker 2 videos. When that game comes out, I'll be trying the expert mode and all that shit. And the story mode. So stay tuned for all that. I'll definitely be posting up. It's a good thing I beat this game because now I can actually play that game when it comes out instead of having to worry about losing my progress in this game. So yeah, I think this level's a little tricky, but there are some tricks to deal with stuff better. Try to take these guys out and, you know, as fast as you can and not get hit, obviously. You can kill them pretty fast before they have much of a chance to attack. So it's not too hard. Yeah, so now here you're going to drop down in the boat again, and you're going to have another area like the the early game. And for this, you're mostly going to want to stay on the left again, like you did before, and just shoot to your right, and just keep doing that. Obviously, avoid the things that come out of the water, but that's about it. It's maybe slightly harder than the one in the other level, but it's very easy. Try to take out the skeleton archers as fast as possible, because they can be annoying. They fire very quickly. Weapon pickups seem very rare in this game. I usually have the same weapon for a while. So yeah, try to avoid the crow. And try to kill everything, obviously, before you get up there. And then there is an enemy that was originally very tricky for me to deal with, and then I learned how to fight it. All you have to do is do that. You just let the skulls bounce over your head. I didn't realize that initially, and I would take hits from them, but once you know that, it's very easy. Though this one's a little tricky because it's right on the edge, so that can be a little tricky. But just try to be aware of it. Try to land on that ledge like that, right on the corner of the ledge, and then you can jump over it. I recommend doing that instead of trying to fight it and kill it. You may also be able to use your charge move on it and either damage it or kill it outright if you want. But you don't really need to do that. But when you get to the boss, you will get all your life back anyway. So if you're good at the rest of the level, you can waste it on, waste one of your powers on that. So yeah, here you're going to go down. And yeah, the snakes are very annoying, so try to take them out when you can. They're always an annoying enemy. The ghost, I believe you can't hit unless they're like a certain color. When they're grayed out, you can't damage them, but when they get a little color to them, you can hit them. But mostly you just want to avoid the ghosts and not really worry about trying to kill them. If I remember right, I just pretty much just run away from them the whole level. These green things can be a problem if you let them get to you, but just try to kill everything before it gets to you. You know, like I said, it makes the game a lot easier if you do that. And I believe this is the boss. Or actually, no, there's an elevator ride here. So for this, just try to kill these enemies. There's going to be bats that appear above you. Just try to kill them as soon as you see them. You know, just be aware. Otherwise, it's going to be harder trying to dodge them while you're trying to avoid the spikes. Obviously, don't touch the spikes on the walls. And you can try to kill these ghosts, but a lot of times they'll probably get past you. So just mainly try to focus on just staying alive. I took the right path here. I don't know if it's a better way to go. You know, because I think I beat this the first... I did. I beat this the first time I got to it, I think, this section. I don't remember what the boss is, but we'll see. I'll remember it when I see it. It was probably a few weeks ago that I beat this level. But yeah. The level does go on for quite a while, but it's really not that hard once you get used to it. It's really not too difficult of a level. But it's all relative. Okay, yeah, for this boss, this boss is extremely easy. I remember this now. All you have to do for this boss... See, I think I beat this boss the first time I got to it, too, yeah. So, like I said, I did sloppy at first because I didn't understand the boss, but it's very easy. And you'll see, once I get the pattern, you'll see what I do, because the boss fights go on forever, so you'll have plenty of time to analyze my pattern. All you got to do is get right where his teeth are, right in the middle, and just shoot straight up. And, of course, jump and shoot up if you can't reach him, but just shoot straight up from the middle. And the carrots cannot hurt you in the middle. They'll explode on the sides of you, but they won't be able to hit in the middle. They always explode in the same place. See, watch. You stay right here, and you're invincible to the carrots. So don't worry about it. Just stay in the middle the whole fight. And all you have to do is double jump when you see him doing his clap. And that's all you have to do. It's super fucking easy. It just takes a lot of hits like all the bosses. So you're going to be doing it probably for a few minutes. I don't know how long, but... Yeah, very easy boss. Like I said, I beat this the first time I got to it, along with that elevator ride. So, very easy. Had I known what to do, I wouldn't have taken any damage for sure, but it didn't take long to see what was going on. A lot of the bosses have very few moves that they can do, so the patterns become very easy. And of course, this may be the easiest boss in the game. Maybe I have to take that back. I think this is the easiest boss in the game, because all you got to do is stay in the middle the whole time and just jump the hands. So yeah, this is a super basic boss, which I don't mind. I like when I beat a level, so I wasn't complaining. I got a lot of other fucking games to play, so. The last boss was annoying enough, but the amount of hits it took. Okay, so now things get interesting. This is pretty much the last level as far as I'm concerned, because this is the first area where you basically get checkpoints. So, of course, you got your checkpoint at the beginning of this section, since this pretty much counts as another level. And then after you make it through this section, you'll get another checkpoint, but like when you get inside the castle. But for now... You're going to be mostly focusing on riding these platforms and trying to jump around those spikes and get onto the next platform. So that's just going to be a matter of like learning where to jump. It's not hard. It's just like you just have to know where you have to go. Pretty much, it's pretty easy. So yeah, try to be in the air as the platform is moving, and then time your double jump as you're coming back down, so the platform has time to move a little bit. It's just a matter of getting the feel, for it. You should be able to. Manage that with a little practice. So yeah, you'll probably want to kill the enemy first in this part. If you have the axe, it arcs down a little bit, so it can get down there a little earlier and take the guy out. But either way, you're going to want to get that asshole off of there. And you just got to be able to visualize how you're going to jump onto the platform. You don't want to do your double jump while you're in between the two spikes. Most likely, unless you have room, but... That's what's good about the double jump in this game, is you can do a delayed double jump. You can do it at the very end, right before you land even, so... You can really get your timing down. You can go under the spikes and then jump up with that second jump. Don't go on that top platform where the coins are, because... that's not where you really want to go. You want to get on this platform to the right. That's going to take you to the next area. I mean, you can go up there if you want. And I guess the platform will come back eventually, but that's not where you have to go. This platform's a little tricky to get onto. See, it's a little hard to line up with. But if you wait long enough, you're going to find a opportunity. I think I get it on the way down, if I remember right, but it's been a while since I watched this. Okay, yeah, you have to do it pretty fast. You can't wait too long, otherwise you don't have the room to get on there. So, it is tricky. And then you just have this kind of standard spike jumping that you've been doing. And I think this is the end of this section. You would think you would fight that sword guy, but I didn't trust it. But yeah, now this is the final castle area, so I'm going to tell you where all the checkpoints are. It's after you beat the spider bosses. There's 2 spider bosses. It's almost the same fight twice. And I think the second one takes a lot more hits, but it's pretty much the same fight with some different obstacles. But, yeah, after you beat a spider, you'll get a checkpoint. So, be aware when you're invincible, when you get hit and your invincibility is flashing briefly, you cannot grab on the ladders, which is really stupid. But for some reason, your character will not grab on the ladders when they're in that mode. So they're invincible to grabbing ladders, which is not very helpful. So yeah, as usual, try to lure out the arrows to be shot and then dodge them if you can. This first part I play a lot sloppier because this didn't take me that long to beat. I think actually when I picked up the game again, I beat this section on my first try, so it was very sloppy. But, it does the job. But you'll see better playing after the first spider boss goes down. Then I start having to refine it more because the second part, I believe, is harder. So yeah, try to focus on taking out those arrow assholes whenever you can. If you do get the armor, of course, pick it up. Because it makes your weapons better, and I think it gives you extra hit you can take. So now the boss is coming up. The first spider boss. Right, and for this one, the platforms are a little different, so I guess it's a little trickier to line up the way you want. So, like I said, I never really got too good at this first spider. I found it a very good way to play the second spider without really getting hit. So I think I do fuck up, but I could definitely do it no damage with that strategy. For this first one, it's a little bit annoying because the platforms are kind of, they're not divided that well. But when you hear a clicking sound, you can't hear it in this video because I don't have the game sound on for this video. But if you watch my other video with no commentary, you'll hear the spider make a clicking sound. And after it makes, 2 clicking sounds, it's going to drop back down again. So that's how you know when he's going to come down. And I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be the same for this fight as it was for the second spider fight, that he comes down after 2 clicking sounds. So get into that rhythm, count the clicking, and when you got it lined up so that he comes down on the second, after the second clicking sound, that's going to be your pattern to look out for. And then you'll know when he's coming down. And then you just jump up and fire at him. He doesn't take a lot of hits in the first form, so the second one takes a long time, but that's pretty much it. Just try to not to be, try to keep moving so he doesn't come down right where you're standing. As long as you keep moving, he won't come down right on top of you usually. So, that's pretty much the trick with that. Try to get rid of these guys as usual and then, deal with these obstacles accordingly. This is a little tricky. What you want to do, I messed up, but what you want to do is wait for him to fire that arrow and then jump over the arrow and get across. You'll see. Eventually I will get it. See, like that. And you really don't have to kill them once you're past them. Only kill them if they're in your way for the most part. Or if you have an easy shot at them, and can kill them easily enough. But I mean, I didn't even play this part that well, and I made it to the boss. So you don't have to be perfect. And you'll get all your life back for the boss. So, as usual. So try to take this asshole out if you can. And like I said, I like to wait for them to shoot the arrow and then jump to dodge it. So now a much, much easier spider fight is coming up. Also, after you beat that first spider boss, you did get a checkpoint right after it. And if you beat this, you're going to get another checkpoint. But yeah, for this boss, all you have to do is basically stay in the middle part and just listen for those clicks and just inch your way across. Don't move too much. Because if you move too much to one side, you're going to get hit by the swinging blades on the left or right sides. So all you got to do is just kind of inch yourself by tapping the D-pad. And after you hear the second click, be ready for it to come down and then start jumping immediately as it's coming down and shooting. And that's how you'll get your hits in. And that's really all you have to do. Occasionally, he'll stop and shoot these little web balls. And you don't want to do that. Don't get under him when he's shooting the web balls. He'll just grab you. So do not do that. And if you do get grabbed, as you're falling, you can sometimes do a double jump and save yourself from falling in the spike pit. So keep that in mind in worst case scenario. But you really shouldn't be getting grabbed after you understand this fight. And when he shoots those web balls, the webs don't hurt you. They just stun you in place. So just press the buttons real fast and break out. And you'll be able to break out in plenty of time before getting hit. So, and that's it. You're just going to inch yourself left to right in this middle area mostly. And just listen for those 2 clicks. After the second click, he's going to come down. So that's it. It just takes really long. It's a long fight, but very, very easy. And after you beat this, you're going to get your next checkpoint. And there's still 2 more checkpoints in the level, so it's very generous. Now, the PC version, I saw a video playthrough, and I don't think those checkpoints were in the last level at all. I think it makes you start the castle over. But that may have been, I don't know if that was the PC version or if it was an older version of the Switch version without updates or what. But I got this game, pretty recently, so I'm only familiar with this version. Yeah, the guy playing, the playthrough that I watched, the guy didn't have it listed for what system it was. I think the game is also on PC. It may have only been like a $10 game or something like that, so I definitely think it's worth that. You'll have a few hours of entertainment with it. Yeah, so after this spider, you're going to have pretty much some more of the same that you've already been doing in this level. Maybe a little bit harder, but you'll have a checkpoint, so you'll learn it. You'll have plenty of time to learn it. As long as you don't shut your fucking system off, you'll be alright. You won't have to start the whole game over. Yeah, just keep that in mind. If it's your first time playing the game, or if you're about to pick it up, do not shut the system off once you start the game up. So be prepared to leave the system on in suspend mode or something like that, which I did for weeks to beat this, until you are ready to put some time into the game. Just have it ready, because if you shut it off, you got to do everything over. So yeah, for this boss, it's pretty easy once you get it down. It's mainly that flame you got to worry about. And for the flame, I like to wait till the flame goes all the way to the right, and then I start my double jump. And when I do it right, I'm coming down just as the flame dissolves. So you just have to get the timing down of exactly when to do that. See, at the edge, double jump, I missed it again, but see, I was still practicing at this point. But yeah, once I got that down, you see, I was taking a lot of hits in the beginning. Once I got it down, it became very easy. So the main thing, once you learn how to dodge that fire, the main thing you're going to have to worry about is the assholes on the ground that keep spawning. So you want to make sure you have a clear path to land after dodging it. See, like that. So you'll see me getting into the rhythm of it finally. See, now I'm getting into it. So now the best thing to do, the best thing to keep in mind is your lives do replenish in this fight. Since you're killing so many skeletons, your lives meter goes up while you're playing this fight. So if you survive well enough, you'll be able to stay in the game because you'll be replenishing your lives. So as long as you can survive a few cycles of this without getting hit again and again, you'll be able to build up your lives and stay. You'll keep the fight going until the end. So you can take a lot of hits and still succeed in this fight, as you see me doing. I really didn't have to master this fight before beating it, so it's pretty easy. I should also mention that you get another checkpoint here at this boss. So you have a checkpoint right in that stairway, right, that leads up to this guy. So you get a checkpoint right here, so you can just keep trying it until you beat it, and it's not that hard. It just takes long. So you just need to learn how to dodge that fire. That's pretty much it. And you see, I mess up plenty of times and still beat it. So yeah, after you beat this guy, you're going to get your final checkpoint of the game. So even if you lose all your lives, you will start at the final boss after this. And the final boss, I guess I consider this all the final boss area, but the second checkpoint of the final boss after this guy is going to be 2 more forms. And the second form is pretty much the same as the first form, except you have to hit the eyeballs on this floating thing, but everything else is the same. So you're just going to have to get the muscle memory down to where you can play it relaxed and you don't get, tense. I got it down to the point where I only took like 2 hits on the entire fight. So, it wasn't too hard for me at that point. Because it repeats the same patterns again and again, but sometimes you'll get a little out of sync if you mess up. But the more you play it, the better you'll get at repeating the patterns again and again. Just repetition, and then you get more comfortable, and then you have that muscle memory, and it goes from being hard to being pretty easy. But like I said, it's just a long fight. It can wear out your forearms and your hands because of all the button mashing. It would be great to have a turbo controller for this system, for games like this. But you'll have to do it the old-fashioned way unless you have a rapid controller. I don't even know if they make one for Switch. But yeah, after a pretty long fight, this guy goes down. Now you're on the final 2 boss forms. So for this, I like to get right at the edge. See what I'm doing right at the edge? And all I do is jump once and keep firing my axe. Jump once, keep firing my axe. Jump once, keep firing my axe. And that's all I do to hit it. Now, if you have a different weapon, you may have to double jump to hit the boss. I think it might be the head that you have to hit. But the axe works great for this. I don't know, the other weapons will reach as well, so you may have to modify the strategy for that. That I can't say. But what I can say is, if you jump and then mash the throw button, with the axe, you're going to get in a ton of hits really fast than trying to fight the boss from across the map. There are a lot of people I saw trying to fight this boss from, very far away. And you're not going to get in as many hits as if you concentrate all the fire, up close. So I recommend getting right on the edge of the boss and doing this. Now, whenever she does her hammer swing, you have to make sure that you're airborne when the hammer hits the ground. You cannot be touching the ground in any part of the ground when the hammer touches. Even if you're at the far end, it will hurt you. And you'll get knocked off probably into the pit and lose a full life. So if you're standing close to her and she hits you with the hammer, you probably won't fall in the pit. You'll probably just, lose your armor and take a hit. So it's a little safer too. But you want to be in the air when that hammer hits the ground. That's all you have to be wary of. So try to balance that as you're firing and just keep that in mind. Get used to the timing. That's all. It's just a rhythm. Always the same timing. Now for this part where when she puts her hand forward, she's going to shoot out stone masses at you. And it's always the same pattern. So all you have to do for that is jump the first one, stay below the second one, jump the third one. That's it. And it'll always work. You just have to be ready to do that when she puts her arm out forward. Now when she puts her arm straight up in the air, she's going to shoot out these snakes. See, that's the end of the first form. But I'm still explaining, of course, the pattern. The patterns are the same, by the way. Now you just have to shoot up at the eyes. All you have to do is shoot up at those eyes. Now for this one's a little trickier to dodge. That's what I was going to explain when she shoots up the snakes. For the snakes, when she raises her hand straight in the air, she's going to shoot snakes out of the ground. For the snakes, all you have to do is you can continue jumping and firing axes into her while the snakes are moving, but when you see one of the snakes getting closer to where you're standing, next to her, be ready to double jump, like right here, double jump to the left. After that snake goes, double jump to the left, or if you're on the other side, you got to double jump to the right. But you got to be ready to double jump back into the other side after that snake goes through. So see, you want to be moving back to the right, so the next one doesn't hit you at the end. And that's pretty much it. It's a little tricky to explain, but once you feel the rhythm of it, it's very easy to dodge. I had it down to where I could do it without really thinking about it. See, and as I said, I only got hit twice in this whole fight. So, you can get it down pretty well. And I didn't spend a shitload of time on this boss. Maybe 30 minutes on this form. Maybe a little bit more because I played a little bit yesterday, or the other time I played, but yeah, not much. It's the thing that's kind of hard about it is the patterns are easy, but it's such a long fight. So if you don't have these patterns down very well, you're not going to be able to beat it. But luckily, it just keeps repeating the same exact patterns the whole fight. And the only thing that changes for this second form is that you have to hit the face in the back. You just have to hit one of the eyes, that's all. It doesn't matter which one, as far as I can tell. So yeah, that's basically it. She basically only has maybe 3 moves that she repeats again and again. That's all she does. So it really is very easy once you learn it. And then after that, you will have completed the game. So good work on that. Let me know if you have any questions about this or requests for future playthroughs. I play through, everything from very old games to the newest. And I like hardest modes and hard games and shit like that. But yeah, it'll be coming to an end shortly. But as you can see, it does take a lot of fucking hits. And that's it. So yeah, thanks for watching. And stay tuned for the upcoming playthroughs.